Howdy, partners, and welcome to the Cowboys Versus Ninjas podcast. Saddle up and get ready for a rip-roaring journey into a world where six-shooters meet samurai swords, and every tale is wilder than a bucking bronco. I'm your host, Adrian, and I'm joined by the trailblazing storyteller, Julia.
Happy trails to you, Adrian, and hold on to your hats, folks, because today's story takes us on a journey to the outer reaches of the Wild West with a twist you won't see coming.
All right, Julia, lay it on us. What kind of yarn are we spinning today?
Well, imagine this. Dusty MacGregor, tough as nails, a true grit cowboy through and through, decides he needs a little R&R. He's picturing a ranch, maybe some fishing, definitely some peace and quiet.
Sounds like a recipe for a good time. So what went wrong?
He accidentally booked himself into a yoga retreat. Instead of saddles and spurs, it's all incense and meditation.
Oh, boy. I could already see the culture clash brewing. A rough-and-tumble cowboy in a sea of serenity. What happened next?
Right, you can practically hear the banjo music screeching to a halt. Dusty's about ready to hightail it out of there when things take a turn for the even weirder.
Don't leave us hanging. Spill the beans.
Out of the clear blue sky, these sleek metallic spaceships appear. Yep, you heard right, aliens. And they're not here for the free kombucha.
Hold on. Aliens attacking a yoga retreat? Now that's something I gotta hear more about.
It was pure pandemonium. Screams erupt, meditation bells clang like alarm bells, and you got yogis trying to fend off these extraterrestrial invaders with, well, yoga poses.
You're pulling my leg, Julia. Yoga against aliens. What did our friend Dusty do?
Dusty, bless his quick thinking heart, didn't skip a beat. He grabs the nearest thing at hand, a yoga mat. And guess what he does?
Knowing Dusty, I bet he didn't try any downward dog.
You got that right. He whips that mat around and lassos one of those alien drones right out of the air. Turns out years of wrangling cattle prepared him for just about anything.
I knew that lasso would come in handy. But I bet even Dusty couldn't handle a whole alien invasion on his own.
He found some unexpected allies right there in the retreat. Susan, an accountant with a surprisingly fierce warrior pose, and Tim, a yogi who, let's just say, was better at tying knots than contorting himself.
An accountant, a yogi, and a cowboy walk into an alien invasion. Sounds like the start of a joke.
It is kind of funny when you think about it. But this mismatched crew proved that strength comes in all shapes and sizes. Susan had the brains, Tim had the ingenuity, and Dusty, well, he had the grit and that trusty lasso.
All right, so we got cowboys, aliens, and yogis. Paint me a picture, Julia. What did this showdown look like?
Imagine it. A peaceful retreat transformed into an all-out battleground. Meditation chimes become battle signals. Aromatherapy candles are hurled like projectiles. And even those dreaded wheatgrass smoothies found a new, somewhat messy use.
I never thought I'd see the day where wheatgrass became a weapon.
It was a sight to behold, that's for sure. And there's Dusty on horseback, thanks to the retreat's equine therapy offerings. Leading the charge, he's lassoing alien ships, tying them up like rogue steers, leaving those baffled extraterrestrial visitors scratching their heads.
So how did a yoga retreat full of peace-loving folks manage to send those aliens packing?
It was a combination of things. Dusty's quick thinking, Susan's strategic mind, and Tim's knack for improvising turned the retreat into a surprisingly effective resistance force.
It sounds like they turned their peaceful practices into some powerful tools.
Exactly. They adapted, thought outside the box, and harnessed what they knew, proving that strength can come from the most unexpected places. But the real heart of the story lies in what happened to Dusty.
Now that's what I'm talking about. What changed for our cowboy hero?
He went in expecting some good old-fashioned relaxation and found himself face-to-face with aliens. But in that chaos, he discovered something unexpected.
All right, Julia, lay it on me. What did Dusty find in all that cosmic chaos?
He found a new kind of strength, a deep well of resilience he never knew he had. It wasn't just about roping and riding. It was about facing the unknown, adapting to the unexpected, and finding that inner calm, even in the middle of a full-blown alien invasion.
Sounds like our cowboy got a crash course in mindfulness. Do you think that's what gave them the edge over those aliens?
Absolutely. Think about it. These aliens show up expecting easy pickings. They probably scanned the place and saw nothing but peaceful vibes and organic snacks. They weren't prepared for a bunch of yogis turning their peaceful practices into weapons and a lasso-slinging cowboy leading the charge.
So it wasn't just Dusty's lasso skills. It was the combination of his grit and that newfound inner peace that really threw those aliens off.
Exactly. It was the perfect blend of cowboy toughness and the calmness he picked up from those yogis. It just goes to show you, sometimes the best way to overcome a challenge is by finding that balance within yourself.
That's a powerful message. It's not always about brute force. but about harnessing your inner strength
Yeah.
and adapting to the situation.
Right. And makes you wonder, could we all benefit from a little bit of that Zen cowboy spirit in our own lives? I mean, think about the everyday challenges we face: deadlines, traffic jams, frustrating coworkers. What if we tackled them with that same blend of grit and mindfulness?
Instead of getting all riled up, we take a deep breath, assess the situation, and use our skills to overcome the obstacle. Sounds like a recipe for success to me.
It's about recognizing that we all have those resources within us. Maybe it's not a lasso and a yoga mat, but we each have our own unique set of skills and experiences that we can draw on when things get tough.
So what you're saying is,
Right.
when those metaphorical aliens show up in our lives, we should channel our inner Zen cowboy.
Precisely. Embrace the unexpected. Find that inner calm. And don't be afraid to use your skills in new and creative ways. Who knows? You might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of.
This whole story is making me think about the importance of community, too.
Yeah.
Dusty didn't fight those aliens alone. He had Susan, Tim, and a whole group of unlikely allies by his side.
That's such an important point. They might have been an odd bunch, but they recognized their strengths, supported each other, and ultimately triumphed together. It reminds us that we don't have to face our challenges alone.
It's about finding those folks who complement your skills, who lift you up when you're down, and who help you see the situation from a different perspective.
And sometimes those folks come from the most unexpected places. Who would have thought that a cowboy, an accountant, and a yogi would make such a formidable team?
It's a reminder that diversity is a strength, not a weakness. When we bring different perspectives and skills to the table, we can overcome just about anything.
And let's not forget the power of laughter. Even in the face of an alien invasion, these folks found moments of humor and absurdity. It reminds us not to take ourselves too seriously, to find joy in the unexpected, and to remember that sometimes a little bit of laughter can make all the difference.
Dusty went looking for a little peace and quiet and found himself leading in yoga-powered resistance against an alien invasion. Talk about an unexpected adventure. It sounds like this story is about so much more than just cowboys and aliens. Julie.
It really is. It's about resilience, adaptation, the power of community, and finding strength in the most unexpected places. And you know what? It makes me wonder, what if we all embrace that Zen cowboy spirit a little more? What kind of positive change could we create in the world?
That's a powerful question to ponder. But before we go too far down that trail, I gotta know, what happened to Dusty after he sent those aliens packing? Did he go back to his regular life? Or did this experience change him forever?
Well, he didn't exactly trade in his lasso for a meditation cushion. But it wasn't quite the same old Dusty either. You see, after that whole alien ordeal, he realized that there was more to life than just riding and roping.
So the cowboy who went looking for a little peace and quiet actually found it in the most chaotic way possible.
Exactly. And that newfound peace stayed with him. He even started incorporating some of those yoga practices into his daily routine. A little stretch in here, a deep breath there.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
MacGregor, the Zen cowboy.
It just goes to show you that growth can happen anywhere, anytime, even in the middle of an alien invasion.
But hold on, you mentioned something about another adventure. Did Dusty hang up his lasso for good, or did he get roped into something new?
Well, let's just say retirement wasn't exactly in the cards for Dusty. Remember Susan, the accountant turned warrior?
How could I forget? She sounds like a force to be reckoned with.
She had a knack for finding trouble, that's for sure. Turns out she'd heard whispers of a town plagued by, telepathic goats.
Telepathic ghosts. Now that's something I gotta hear more about.
Apparently, these goats were causing all sorts of mayhem with their mind-melding abilities. Folks were having strange dreams, their thoughts were getting jumbled, and the whole town was in an uproar.
Sounds like a job for a Zen cowboy with a trusty lasso.
Susan thought so too. She figured Dusty, with his newfound inner peace and his uncanny ability to wrangle just about anything, was the perfect man for the job.
So did Dusty ride off into the sunset with Susan to tackle those telepathic goats?
That, my friend, is a story for another time. But it just goes to show you, once you embrace the unexpected and tap into your inner strength, there's no limit to the adventures life can throw your way.
And that's where we leave Dusty for now, folks. Out there somewhere, tangling with telepathic goats and spreading a little Zen wisdom along the way.
His story reminds us that even when life throws us a curveball, even when we're faced with the seemingly impossible, there's always a way to adapt, to overcome, and maybe even find a little humor in the chaos.
It's a good reminder that heroes come in all shapes and sizes. And sometimes the greatest strength comes from within. So the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, remember Dusty MacGregor, the Zen cowboy. Take a deep breath, channel your inner peace, and don't be afraid to lasso those challenges head on.
And never underestimate the power of a good story. Stories have a way of inspiring us, teaching us, and reminding us of the strength that lies within each of us.
So saddle up, listeners, and embrace the wild ride of life. You never know what adventures await or what unlikely heroes might emerge. And remember, sometimes the most unexpected journeys lead to the greatest discoveries.
That's all for this episode of the Cowboys Versus Ninjas podcast. Be sure to rate and follow us for more incredible tales of samurai and gunslingers. And until next time, keep those boots shine, those lassos ready, and that inner peace cultivated. You never know when you might need to channel your inner Zen cowboy or cowgirl. It's like